I'd like to call Ngozi to testify. She and I have had several conversations together. She's ready to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you're about to give this committee is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Welcome, Ms. Nmezi. Okay, where is it?
Good afternoon, Councilmember Marion Berry, Chairperson of the Committee on Aging and Community Affairs. My name is Ngozi Nmezi, the Director of the D.C. Mayor's Office on African Affairs. In FY11, OAA worked with OPC to confirm and reconfirm 11 commissioners on the Commission of African Affairs. We conducted rigorous needs assessments with a variety of stakeholders and strengthened our outreach streams via our e-platforms, which included revving up our Facebook page, creating an OAA Twitter account, and increasing our biweekly listserv recipients by approximately 600 community members. We continue to strategically target key stakeholders. This includes African youth, African media, African-owned small businesses, and African-owned nonprofits. OAA and OPGS co-hosted a brown bag discussion program about grant fundings and for local African-serving organizations. All of this targeted engagement aims to increase understanding, dialogue, and sophistication of stakeholder needs, infuse feasible suggestions into OAA's programmatic educational activities, and subsequently strengthen the relationship between the district government and the African communities, upholding the Gray administration's fondness of grassroots democracy. We fine-tune our foot-on-ground strategy, which constitutes targeted outreach to aggregations of African immigrant communities throughout the district. This includes housing complexes, religious institutions, country-specific diaspora group meetings, and increasing attendance at African-related programming in the district. A notable public-private partnership forged by OAA was with Eric Airlines and Shakespeare Theater for the second annual DC Africa Festival. The festival was used as a platform to launch the agency's We Count initiative, which is a survey that allowed for data collection on demographics of Africans in DC, get feedback on preferred programming, and also enumerating service agency touches. Completed surveys were entered in a raffle for a chance to win a pair of Eric Airline plane tickets to one of 7 African countries: Nigeria, Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Benin, and South Africa, and also 3 pairs of tickets to see Fela at Shakespeare Theater. The data collected in turn built OAA's outreach group listing. In FY12, OAA continues to address complexities identified in our prior needs assessments. These include reinvigorating our internship and volunteer program. We are currently recruiting interns based on specific responsibilities that address operational gaps within the agency. Offering business and nonprofit support via OAA's Business and Nonprofit Engagement, Development, and Support Series. Continuing OAA's Public Safety Series, which is comprised of informational sessions that hone in on public safety issues that are identified as a priority in the district's African immigrant communities. In fact, we recently co-led a workshop in conjunction with a local church, USCIS, and an immigration attorney to address some concerns of immigrants wishing to adjust their status. And lastly, we are launching OAA's African Dialogue Series tomorrow, February 16th. The Dialogue Series creates a space for community building, community bridging, and awareness through discussions that explore identity, connectedness, and unity, concepts that run crosswire with our administration's One City mantra. I hope that you'll be able to join us at the launch of the series tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Reese Center. I would like to thank you, Chairman Berry, for the opportunity to proudly recount some of our accomplishments in the past year and for plans in the future. I'm available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ngozi. Again, I'm giving history to the people who are watching on 13. I have been a long advocate of a strong relationship between Africa and more specifically African Americans. When I came into office in '78, we had a sister relationship, Dakar, Senegal. And in 1979, my wife Effie and I visited Dakar in April or May of that year. was my first visit to Africa, because we were raised in America that Africa was a group of crazy people running around doing things and etc. But during my civil rights movement days, I learned better. A lot of things came out of Africa. Mathematics, long before the Greeks got involved with it. There were kingdoms and kings and queens in Africa. And my wife and I went to Dakar. We got a great welcome. The vice president of the country had a red carpet, had about 2 or 3 drumming groups that were drumming us in, etc., etc. And the first thing I did when I got off, I bowed down and kissed the ground of the area where my ancestors, not the specific area, but from the country part of it. I've had an opportunity to visit many countries in Africa, some 27 countries to be exact. As you very well know, I'm an honorary chief in a wary. I'm very proud of that. I got to get over. I got this year. I'm gonna need your assistance because I want to go to a wary. I want to go to Nigeria, period, and spend at least a week or so in various parts of Nigeria, including Abuja and other places there. But I do this so that people can get educated that this particular person, this council member, has been active in Africa for a long period of time. We went to Africa with Mayor Williams in August of '06. Went to South Africa, and we visited the Robben Island where Mandela had been held for some many years. And Mayor Williams and I happened to be together. Went to the jail cell where Nelson Mandela was kept. We both just broke out spontaneously in tears to think that somebody could be that inhumane against a person, any person really, but certainly not Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela has been here at South African Embassy. We've had lunch, we had dinner together. Again, I'm just letting people who are watching this know of my great involvement in Africa and my great commitment to that situation. Now, in terms of the 2 sister cities we have in Africa, is there any liaison, any work that you all do with the 2?
Yes, I believe we have 3 in Africa. I believe we have 3 in Africa. One in Tshwane, Pretoria, South Africa. Another in Dakar, and the third is in Accra, Ghana. But we are currently exploring ways in which we can kind of interface the export DC piece, of course working with the Office of the Secretary and other different district government agencies to see how we can better interface the sister city agreements with possibly the export DC piece that the mayor has just launched.
Because under Mayor Fenty, these sister city relationships of all kinds, particularly African, were not serviced at all and paying attention didn't build a community around Senator Calise. Shirley Smith tried hard. You know Shirley Smith?
Yes.
Yeah. Tried hard to get people involved in the Fenty administration, and they didn't do much. So I want to commend you for your efforts to try to reach out and to do more than was done before. I've been to Accra a whole bunch of times, at least a half a dozen times. So I've just had great experiences. You know, I've had some not so great experiences in the sense that every time I would go to Africa, I went to the countries around Sierra Leone, Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Ghana, etc. They were fighting, and I was not about to go over there because they don't know one black face from another black face. And so therefore, I've never been to Sierra Leone. I'm putting it on my list this year to go to Sierra Leone and more of West Africa. I've been to most of the countries the 13 countries that were formerly French colonies there. Again, I'm doing all this because people get information about me, about what the council is doing via the media, that's dangerous because they don't always tell the truth about things. You had your first town hall meeting. When was that held, and what was the attendance, and how did it go?
The first town hall meeting with Mayor Vincent C. Gray was held right here at the Wilson Building in the G level in the mayor's press room. We actually had a pre-town hall mixer before the meeting. We boasted an attendance of roughly about 175 to 200 community members that were in attendance. Discussions were really kind of coalesced around health, economy, as well as education, which was a huge driver within the constituency, primarily with the youth. They were brought up several kind of issues about having more African history kind of covered within DCPS schools. So we're looking to really kind of really engage the youth more, just based on a lot of the suggestions that we got at the town hall. And a spin-off, or actually, what should I say, spawned from the town hall, was an African immigrant youth town hall, which we intend on holding in April 28th with the mayor.
How was that?
Well, we haven't had it yet, but we do hope that this April.
28th,
but we do hope that it'll be a great success.
That sounds very good. Anything else you want to add?
Well, just one thing, the African diaspora series that we're having, and just kind of speaking to what you spoke about and improving relationship between the African immigrant community and the African American community, and that's exactly what it's intended to do. It's really discussing unity, connectedness, bridge building, and community building. So most of our topics will kind of coalesce around improved relationships between the African immigrant community and the African American community.
You have a relationship to the African business community as doing business with the D.C. government?
Yes, we do. We're actually working with African businesses now. We're recruiting them as partners in the One City, One Hire piece with DOES. And we've actually just held an African small business roundtable with a federal partner at the Small Business Administration's Office of Advocacy, just to identify needs and concerns and issues that they may have had or have been having due to federal regulations, as well as just local kind of hiccups.
That's good. I know a number of construction companies headed by Africans that are doing work in our public schools. You know. Well, anyway, thank you.
All right.
Very much.
Thank you.
Oh, what's your budget?
Oh, budget is $198,147.27.
Down to the penny, huh?
Hey.
Well, I guarantee you we're going to do better than that in the 13 budget, because $198, a lot of agencies mess up in programs that don't work in 5 minutes of stuff. And so we're going to do something about that too, you've done a great deal with very little. But just think about it. If you had a larger budget, have a larger staff, that you do programming, you could do so much more, right?
Well, actually, the budget that has been allotted to me by the mayor is my budget, and it's more than enough for what we need to do.
I know you would say that.
We've been able to get...
I'm serious. I knew you would say that. Because if I were mayor, you would say that. But the mayor's mark is the mayor's mark. You're supposed to say, it's enough to do all we need to do. So that doesn't surprise me that you said that. All right? But I have a different position. I don't have to say that, and will not say that. And so thank you for being.
Thank you.
Mr. Laude, you hear me? I understand that. I'm going to ask that question of everybody. I know what answer I'm going to get. Because if I got a different answer, they may not be before this committee next time. No, seriously though.